We made it.
Just as lightning hits.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, that was like that Poseidon or somebody striking. Or no, Zeus. Zeus is striking. Striking.
Yes, he's
some
saying,
lightning
let's
down.
get started with this live stream.
Yes. Yes. Or he's gonna hurt me. But anyway, welcome, Mr. Stan. Welcome everybody who's coming in here. We made it back. So we have a new guy today that we've never had on the podcast today, but not a new guy in the space. This is Stan, the Credit Frog. You guys probably don't need any introduction whatsoever. Of course, as Spencer comes in, Stan the man, Stanley the manly.
Oh, hey, Spencer, what's up, man? Good to see you here. And see other people in the chat, too. I see all you guys.
Hell yeah. And I appreciate you doing this, man, and being here for this.
Thanks. No problem. Thanks for inviting me, Tony. It's been we planned this for a long time, and finally got 2 weekends that we could kind of, do this together with. So I'm glad that it's finally come to this time. We can kind of, spend some time together on this, for me, very hot, sunny, 100-degree Fahrenheit afternoon in Southern California. And
Jeez.
you, not quite the same, I could say.
The opposite, just rainfall and lightning and thunder and everything like that. So craziness, absolute craziness. So for those of you who do need an introduction, Mr. Stan the Credit Frog, we have known each other for I think almost a year now, or maybe just at about a year now. We met when we were all around 1 to 500 subscribers with a bunch of other guys like Spencer Johnson, Eric Gow, a bunch of these guys. And so we've been talking actually for a long time now. And for those of you who also don't know, Chad's Money Minutes just put out a video with his credit card yearbook, and Stan was the valedictorian. And one of Chad's main things for Stan is that and what I want to say as well, is Stan is one of the most thorough guys in all of the credit card space. This is a guy who has gone really in depth on either just his credit card strategy, just going into, how much each point is actually worth based on, his spend and how well the multipliers work on his lifestyle. Whenever you watch one of his videos, you can always be rest assured it's going to be thorough. It's going to be broken down based on his current numbers in his own life and beyond. And I actually really appreciate that. I'll actually go to him and his channel for a lot of information. If you go back in his channel, you'll see he's done videos on, and actually this was before we met, but I noticed today I was looking, you actually did on how to maximize Amex points at Disney. That's
right. That was one of my first videos that, kind of popped off a little bit more than my usual ones. We can talk about that more in a little bit, but that was a really fun one to do. It's not what I do anymore because it's a lot more vloggy than I typically do now, but it was a fun one to make for sure.
Definitely. And I remember when we just met and you were talking, I remember seeing a lot of videos from you talking about like different lounges when you were at certain lounges. It might have been Centurion lounges, a few places. I remember you doing videos on how to maximize, I think, your points or credits in Vegas. And then, of course, all of your backdoor Roth IRAs or Roth IRA stuff and your Morgan Stanley videos, and how to actually get a free platinum card, which is the thumbnail and the title of this video that you get every single year. So we could talk about all that. But of course, my first question is always, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Tony. It's again great to be here. I haven't done a lot of lives before. I've done maybe one or two in the past, so it's exciting to kind of see you and your channel and how it's grown so fast with all these live streams and all the great guests you've had on your channel so far. And so I'm glad to be a part of that community with all these different creators you've had on your podcast.
Appreciate you, man. And like I said, I really appreciate you being here. So of course we always have to get into, and what's going on, guys? Everybody in here: Matt Clausen, CJ. Sean, Danny Boy, Cal Barton, Chad, Spencer.
Oh, we got a full house here today. That's
JP.
Great. I see, yeah.
Definitely a bunch of people. And of course, we all want to know. Everybody in this community always wants to know, Stan, how did you get started in the credit card game? When did this start? Why are you doing this in the first place?
No, that's always a great question to ask someone who, is like us, who've been doing this for like a year or two. It's actually a pretty simple story. I'm sure everyone, in 2020 had a very big, life-changing moment where everything kind of changed a little bit. We got more into YouTube, more into the digital space. And I noticed the entire year of 2021, I was watching YouTube a lot more than regular TV, cable TV. And so what I did was I noticed I was really focusing on credit card content. And specifically, I was seeing a lot of those videos that come up, like for example, Daniel Braun just started, Mark Plano was on the scene, also Mark Reese, Luke was there too. I watched all of their videos, pretty regularly, and I thought it was a really cool community that was starting to develop at that time, and it was very interesting stuff to me. Like I knew that myself, I love talking about credit cards. I could talk about them for hours on end and not get bored. And
Right.
so that was something that I really loved that to know that there are a lot of people like myself that have the same kind of thought where they just love talking about credit cards and learning about them, how to maximize them, both on the points side as well as on the redemption side. And so because I had that experience in 2021, I started to look to, I would like to get involved in the community, but I think it'd be better if I were to start my own YouTube channel. But at the same time, I had no idea where to start at the beginning. Like, I didn't know how to video edit. I didn't know how to operate a camera. I knew how to operate an iPhone for that matter, for to like this degree. And so I had to like figure out how to learn all those skills. So within the 6 months before the start of 2022, I actually researched all that stuff. Like, how do I like film myself? What kind of things do I need to do for lighting and audio? And I learned how to do some basic editing, that sort of thing, to get ready for it. And so I decided to launch the channel in January of 2022, with
Hmm.
the point of just talk about credit cards. I just wanted to kind of to see if I could, I knew I had some opinions out there that could be helpful to a lot of people, but I wanted to also learn how to become a content creator at the same time, just to kind of build on two different types of skills. And so I once I did a few of those videos, it became more and more fun to me to be able to interact with more people. My channel was pretty slow to start. I would say I got maybe my first 100 subscribers in 3 months,
Hmm.
and most of my videos around the first 3 month period, they were like maybe 4 or 5 minutes long, and I had maybe 100 views or so on each video, and it was great just to learn because at that time you're just trying to figure it out. But the more that you do it, the more you see the same people come up. You get to learn more about who who's like what, like kind of what they prefer, and it was really cool to see another form of that community develop. And then the creator that mentioned to you before started to like comment on my videos, and that was super exciting to me. And so I always like to try to do the same thing for other smaller creators as well, because I know how it is to be, when you first start out, you kind of don't know what's going on. But I
Yeah.
think that I wanted to target, everyone in the credit card community, and just making sure that I give the best advice from my own personal experience, because everyone has their own experience when it comes to credit cards. It's just really cool to see everyone's own personal viewpoint. There's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions. There could be a better answer than others,
Hmm.
but there's going to always be it depends on your personal situation. What's the best trifecta? What's the best credit card? It depends on kind of what your situation is going to be. And because there's so many different options for credit cards, there's so many like things you can do, which is so exciting and so amazing, which is why I stuck with the credit card niche in particular, right? I just, again, I love credit cards. I can't talk about them for so long. I also love personal finance too, but
Hmm.
it's a really interesting story, that personal finance versus credit card space. I did choose credit cards over personal finance, although I do like personal finance too, only because for personal finance, for myself, I can only talk about like one thing at a time, and like that's kind of it. So for me, for example, personal finance would be like, spend less than you earn, like invest your money, do the
Hmm.
right thing, sort of thing. It's kind of
Yeah.
like very basic. There is much more nuance to that, but I'm not like, a CPA. I'm not like, a financial planner. I don't have that kind of pedigree behind me that I would feel comfortable saying that kind of stuff more than
Hmm.
that. But credit cards, it's just, there's so many opportunity, there's so much difference, and there's so many things to talk about, and there's always new credit cards, changing credit cards, different strategies, and that's what makes it so much fun for me. And I know a lot of you out there watching as well, is that we all love this one particular topic so much that it's just fun to see everyone kind of come together and have their own opinion about it. And so, to make a long story short, it's basically I wanted to have a platform to talk about my personal experience about credit cards, and hopefully some of you out there enjoy the content and can relate it to your own personal setups as well, so you can make your own right decision for yourself when it comes to credit cards.
That is great, man. That is amazing. You could see like, when you just say, a lot of people say I love credit cards. I talk about it for hours, but you can really see the passion
Yeah.
when I'm watching you now, and you're like, you really want to. It's equally maximizing for your own life, but now also maximizing for other people's lives. And like you said, there's no
Mhm.
true one size fits all. it's custom for everybody, and there could always be a different card out there that works for me. It doesn't work for you, etc. It's it's interesting too because if you look back, a lot of us who have made at least, yeah, I don't know, 50 to 100 videos. If you go back to our first videos, there's always an element of personal finance to it. There's always, if you look
Hmm.
at my channel, I did how I saved money during the oil crisis, how I saved a certain amount of money, et cetera, et cetera. But if you go back in your channel, you don't really see that. You really just see kind of straight through credit card content the whole way through. Was that intentional? Like,
Hmm.
did you start the channel knowing it was going to be credit cards only? Because I believe at one point you actually wanted to have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you wanted to have personal finance, but also more of like um, cash stuffing styles of a video. Is that true?
Yeah, so one of the styles I saw that I think we just had this discussion offline like a
Yeah.
couple months ago, that cash stuffing was a very like I saw these videos that were doing cash stuffing and I was like, wow, like people really like cash stuffing. But it would never
Yeah.
work for someone like myself because I don't actually
Mm.
use cash at all. I think it's a great version of learning how to budget because that's kind of the topic they're focusing on more in the cash stuffing portion.
Yeah.
But my channel was when I started, I was like, I want to do credit cards. Like before I started, before January 2022, I was like,
Hmm.
well, should I do personal finance? Should I do
Yeah.
credit cards to start mainly? And for the reason I mentioned before, that I find much more joy in credit cards than I do in personal finance. Not that
Yeah.
I can't talk about it, but I feel like there's only like one dimension to that. So I put out like a backdoor Roth IRA video. I can do that video like one time unless they change something major, which they may, looking at the legislation now, they may change it, but that's
Yeah.
like a one and done video. I can't do that. But as you can see, you can do infinity million platinum videos, Amex platinum videos. Like there's so
Right.
many ways to attack that one card. And then there's infinity million cards. And then you can take the infinity million cards and make infinity million trifectas out of those cards. So there's so many options with credit cards and so many ideas that you'll always have an idea to make a video on something, right? Now, I'm not going to say that credit cards are the best niche because personal finance, there's a lot of other ones, other creators that do that are much more popular with personal finance, and they do that very, very well. But
Hmm.
I don't have, in my opinion, I don't have the pedigree or the passion for that as I do with credit cards specifically. Now, would that ever rule out personal finance as a niche in the future? No. But I think right now I love credit cards. I love this whole community that all of us have built, all of us here probably in the chat, which I can't see by the way at this point, but whoever's in the chat, hi. Good to see you guys.
Hmm.
But I know we have a really good community with Discord, and with all the podcasts that are coming up and all the different credit card content and even the newer creators that are coming on the scene that may or may not have been inspired by one of us or somebody else, for example. Like, I feel like this community is the best when it comes to aspiring people wanting to start YouTube because we are all very inviting and we want you to succeed as best that you can. We'll have our own different paths, but we're always here to help you. And because that's the nature of the credit card content is how do you get the best value from your credit card? It's the same kind of mentality.
That is so true. That is so true. I sometimes forget how far we've kind of come inside of the niche. And that, yeah, there are some people that probably have watched and be like, I want to make a channel too. I mean, we know a few people in the Discord too have now started channels, just based on, whether we call it bullying or not, we get people to start new channels and whatnot.
Sure, sure.
So you kind of mentioned going into credit cards, and your passion for it. But was there like a particular moment in your past? I mean, 2020, of course, that's when things kind of came to light, and we all kind of got into the personal finance niche around there if we weren't already. But was there any particular moment, like was there a card that you got and you were like, huh, this is pretty interesting, or was it just, yeah, I'm watching these credit card videos, I'm gonna replicate that too? And did you have a shift at one point to where like, do I want to use cash anymore? Do I just want to use credit cards for life?
Yeah, I mean, I've been using credit cards for many, many years. I've been using
Yeah.
it for almost 20 years now. So it's
Hmm.
been quite some time. And I've never used, well, I don't say that, but I almost never use a debit card or cash. So I've been using credit cards like pretty much exclusively for a long time. So that's always been a part of my life, which kind of gives you a nice perspective because you have that back experience
Yeah.
of many, many years of using them. Now, I didn't use them to the level that I do now, where I kind of maximize things or what's the best setup, but I
Yeah.
did use them to get like some level of points, to give some level of redemption, beforehand. But I think one of the things that really bothered me about the credit card niche when I started, and this was back in like I would say September 2021, is that I was a primary user of Bank of America credit cards, and like nobody talked about them at all. Like there were some, but like they were kind of like, oh, these are these Bank of America credit cards. They're okay, whatever. But I was like, no, no, no. But they're so good. Like if you actually have that level to get involved in the preferred rewards program, which at the time I was not platinum honors at the time, but I
Hmm.
was gold at the time. And so you can really start to look forward and look ahead and see, well, if I got to this point from personal finance, the right things, saving my money, trying to make it to that level, you could really start to power forward with all of those great preferred rewards things. And so that's why I decided to, I was like, I gotta like eventually make a video and try to give Bank of America more love because I think it was being neglected a little bit. That was one thing that kind of stood out to me at that time and helped push me forward to say that will be one focus of my content once I kind of figure out how to make a video and that sort of thing.
For sure, and that's it's funny because we all have things that I think we think about when we think of some of these other YouTubers. Like if I think of I don't know if I think of Matt Welter, I usually think Alaskan Airlines, and now I think Hilton. I look at Spencer Johnson, I think Chase for whatever reason. Even though we've all done millions of different videos, it's just I don't know
Right.
for some reason
Hmm.
things just stand out. And for you, no matter what, it's always the trifecta. It's Roth IRA stuff. It's Morgan Stanley Platinum, and then it's Bank of America videos. Now, what's the deal with Bank of America, man? Why do they get such a bad rap? Why do people don't? Why? How come nobody's talking about Bank of America? Is it just not sexy? What's going on?
Well, I think, especially with the recent news coming out with them, just like, Wells Fargo, just like US Bank,
Hmm.
putting out all these like, fake accounts or signing up people for accounts they didn't ask for. Every
Yeah.
bank's going to have their skeletons out of the closet. It's just,
Mm.
that's how it's going to be. I can only speak from personal experience that Bank of America has always treated me right. I've banked with them since I've been banking as a kid, and I've never had a negative experience with them. And
Hmm.
that is very rare to say because I know a lot of people who can say the absolute opposite. But because they've always treated me right, I continue to bank with them, and I think that they're a great bank.
Hmm.
And so I think everyone has their own opinion on what they think the best bank is, and we can all, hate on Wells Fargo, for example. They're the ones that we all like to hate on, is because of their presence in the news and what they did. But
Hmm.
some people they like Wells Fargo, and that's cool for them. So I think that you just have to figure out what works for you and kind of run with that.
For sure. And do you think that there are some? Because I remember seeing. Well, so your videos, of course, but I remember seeing Dave Hansen. I mentioned this on another live stream. He had a particular way of having anything covered in life up to 5%. Everything that he paid for in life was 5%. And I
Mhm.
think I remember one of his cards was the is it the Bank of America Preferred Rewards?
Yeah, so one of them is the Bank of America customized cash rewards card. I think
Uh,
that card is the only card in their system that is worth getting if you have no relationship at all.
hmm.
I would say it's very similar to the Blue Cash Everyday card from American Express in terms of
Oh.
its utility.
Hmm.
There's plus and minuses to both of those cards, but because it gets that 3% choice category for six different categories that are pretty helpful,
Hmm.
anyone could value from that for no annual fee. But then if you have the Platinum Honors tier and you get that 75% rewards boost, that's when it jumps up to 5.25% cash back. And
Hmm.
that's, of course, with a limit of $2,500 per quarter, which is,
Hmm.
it's not a lot, but it's still enough to really get you to where you need to go for most things.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those where it's very helpful. And not only is it great because you have that card, there's also analog cards to that card. So, for example, they have the Susan G. Komen customized cash rewards card, which is the
Hmm.
same type of card with the same things, but it's just called different. So you can get two of those cards, and that's totally fine. And then if you
Huh.
got like the premium rewards card, unlimited rewards card, travel rewards card, premium rewards elite card, you can product change that card down to the customized cash rewards card. So now you have an army of no annual fee, 5.25% cashback cards, and that's great. And if you pair that with like the City Custom Cash card, which you could also get multiple City Custom Cash cards, you
Mm.
have an army of 5% cashback cards where you can use for different categories with limits, of course.
Yeah.
Not everything's perfect, but I think that would be a great way to just start to like nail them out on top of all the other 5% cashback cards. Chase Freedom Flex, Discover It. You can name whatever 5% card that I can't think of right now, but there's so many
Hmm.
different ones you can then add to that to cover all your categories. Oh, that US Bank Cash Plus, that's a good one. Um, you know,
Hmm.
that's how you can get to that 5%, all the things sort of setup. But there's a lot of cards, right? So there's simplicity, there's complexity. Some people are okay with using 12 or 15 cards to get 5% on like this thing, that thing, the other thing. Some people just
Hmm.
want to do like 3 to 5, where it's like, I can maximize some things, but not everything. Some people can just do like one, just do like the Fidelity Rewards Visa, the SoFi, credit card, the Citi Double Cash, Wells Fargo Active Cash, those things.
Hmm. Yeah. Huh. That's pretty wild. I never, yeah. See, I didn't know about that. A lot of us just, I don't know much about Bank of America. So you're saying you could, potentially get like three, one of those credit cards that have, I guess, a limit of 2,500 per quarter on all three of them. So 7,500 a quarter, getting
Hmm.
5.25% back. That's pretty wild. That's very
Yeah,
wild. And
yeah.
and
It's
what's,
that's
mhm,
that's why they call it the end game setup, because that would
hmm,
be the best way. If you could get a bunch of 5% cashback cards and they're all no annual fee, you can just call it a day. That's kind of it. Now, it's not great for aspirational travel, so we want
hmm,
to keep that in mind too. But by far and away, the easiest way to get value from a credit card is a no annual fee cashback credit card. There's like nothing more simple. You just get the rewards, auto like redeem back to your checking account at the end, and that's it. There's no thinking. You just get the straight up value. That's it.
that's true. And those, yeah, that cash back on the Bank of America reward, that there's no convertibility to that, or is it just
There's no
straight?
caps. You can do direct deposit. You can do statement credit.
Uh,
Yeah, it's just one to one. There's no like redemption that's special, other than the Premium Rewards Elite card. You need to do that 25% airline redemption back. There's that for Bank of America, but that's the only thing that can make it better
huh,
in their system.
not bad. Not too bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're making me think about it a little bit. Thinking, and does Bank of America have any like, I don't know, because you said that that's main probably the only one that's kind of worth having. Are there any Bank of America cards for like aspirational travel people in that game?
I don't think so. I mean, they don't have any transfer partners, um, which
Uh,
is kind
hmm,
of a problem with them. But again, it's kind of what you look for. Like I'm more of a hybrid team travel, team cashback. I try to lead more teams travel,
hmm,
but because I know that I like simplicity more than complexity,
yeah,
I don't mind having like a catch-all credit card that I can just be like, okay, if I can't use my card here, here, or here, I can just use this one card and not have to think about any of the problems. I'll always get some pretty good cash back. So that's why I use the Premium Rewards Elite credit card for that, because you get 3.5% on restaurants, 3.5% on travel, and 2.625% on everything else. And so it really helps to have that option because it's a Visa card too. So if my Amex doesn't work or they don't
hmm,
accept Amex, I can use a Visa, and I know I'll always get some really good redemption, even though it may not be like MR points or UR points, and that's just a personal preference. Some people
hmm.
want to maximize the points, and they could probably get way more value than what I'm getting. But because I prefer more simplicity, that's my choice to do that percent cashback on that PRLE card.
Not bad, not bad. And I know you just did, kind of updated what's in your wallet recently. But did you, or could you say that, do you, I watched it, but now I'm kind of actually forgetting on the spot. But what main cards are you kind of using right now in your life?
Yeah, so I only have 5 cards. I have the four main, which is the platinum, the gold, the customized cash rewards card from Bank of America, as well as the Premium Rewards Elite credit card. I am working on a sign up bonus too on the American
Hmm.
Express Business Gold card. And
Hmm.
so, actually, just because we're talking about it now, I have a very interesting video coming up on Monday that is going to maybe make that setup a little bit different, because I noticed that my sign up bonus card has been my primary card for about a year,
Hmm.
whatever that sign up bonus card is. And so I'm really neglecting a lot of my core credit card setup.
Hmm.
And so I was thinking to myself, how can I integrate my sign up bonus card into my core credit card setup?
Hmm.
And so that's going to be the topic of my Monday's video.
Oh Lord. Now we,
So to be continued about that. What's in my wallet at this point?
life's been getting crazy in the credit card world recently with the onset of God trifectas, and now I'm trying to create a God bifecta, and now we're seeing some city trifectas, and then also the one you were talking about in your latest video. It's
Yeah, trifecta.
have,
I know Daniel Braun did one too recently. I know Spencer
mm,
Johnson's going to do one
hmm,
tomorrow on his trifectas. I'm curious to see what he's going to say about that too. So we'll have to take a
yes,
look. And I think again, trifectas or any kind of setup is always so much fun to look at, because there's so many different opinions and options to choose from, and you can just research them all. Like Sledge always says, do your research, do your
Right.
research, and then once you do that, you can make your own decision on what works best for you. And that's why all of these videos are so relevant because we all
Mm,
have our own opinions on what's better, what's worse. And so just take for each video what you would put into your own life, and then make your own like best, God trifecta or bifecta or duo or whatever.
right, right. And I see some people in chat. I see Calby coming in. I don't know. I don't think this is spoiling anything. I don't think so. But did you and then plead the fifth if this is not true. Did you get the curve card? Are you thinking about getting the curve card?
Myself,
Yeah.
Uh, so I think it's interesting a trifecta that Calby put out. I don't think I want to burn a 524 slot for the curve card.
Mm,
It it doesn't make sense in my situation. I've been working very actively to get under Chase 524, which I will be next month, which is exciting because it's been a
hmm.
long time.
Wow.
But it does actually play into my video on Monday where I talk about this new setup I have for myself that I think I'm going to start moving towards.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for everyone out there watching to know what your Chase 524 status is because it's going to be integral to figuring out what's the next card for you and how to make sure that you try to stay under Chase 524 as much as possible. I know there are tons of creators out there like Uncle Luke and Chad who have beaten 524 and they've been doing great with that, but a lot of us have not. And
Yeah.
so I think it's a rule that we should respect for now. And so it should be part of what we think about when we're applying for these new cards. And so that is something that's important to know. And so that plays a big part of the new cards I get. So that's why I wouldn't get the curve card at this point. Would it be a great card? It would be phenomenal if they could do American Express and Visa. But right now it's only locked to MasterCards, and that I think is part of the reason why it may not be as effective as it should be as a card.
Yeah, I have been enjoying it. I've been enjoying using it, and just because I'm getting a 1% just by using the curve card itself, and then on top of whatever multipliers you're getting with I'm using the build card mostly with it. So for that reason, I've been liking it, and that's where things have been getting creative, like throwing the Yada card in there, and there's some other thoughts
Mhm.
out there that I have to figure out. Um, but I like it for that reason. It's funny you mentioned 524 and being something to respect. We're like, damn, Stan, stop being so responsible. We don't want this. Because people like Sledge, Chad, and Luke are saying like, even Sledge just mentioned that chat. What's
God.
524?
I love Uncle Luke and watching Uncle Luke's content because he's like a steamroller. Like he will just apply for cards when he like wakes up in the morning after his like morning coffee.
Yeah, what the
That's like
hell?
the kind of attitude that he has. And I think that's just awesome. Like I am totally the opposite. I'm like, how many heart pulls do I have? Like, can I get under like 4 or 3? I try to like keep my heart pulls like really low, and that's just a personal preference. There's nothing good or bad about that. But
Hmm.
I think others in the community they like to just charge ahead and apply and apply and apply, and that's a personal preference too.
Yeah.
It depends on kind of what you're looking for. I for one, I know Sledge put out a video today putting card number 31 or something high, and he also gets a lot of great cards.
Surprise.
I'm really happy for all of his success with applying for, but I personally would never go over like 16 cards. Like that's just not for me. If
Yeah.
I apply for many cards, don't get me wrong, but they get canceled pretty quickly after year one, and I have a pretty good system of doing that.
Hmm.
But the ones that are like the core credit cards, they do stay in my the setup for long periods of time. But some cards, when I apply for them at this point, because I know what that core setup is, they're just like one year cards. They're just like get the sign up bonus, use it for what it needs to be used for the credits, and then you can just dump it and move on.
Yeah.
Unless I find it's going to be really important to my life, which typically it doesn't because most of the categories are covered at this point. So it's just a personal preference, and that makes it kind of easy for me to think about because if every new card's like a burner card, then I can kind of plan ahead and see what's the best sign-up bonus, or wait for that next sign-up bonus, specifically American Express, so you can really like get that really really good one when it comes up. And if you are under Chase 524, when they put up that 125 case Chase Sapphire preferred bonus, you'll be
Yeah.
ready to pounce on that one when that happens because I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
That's true. That's honestly wise words, I would say, for sure. Before we kind of shift gears a little bit, I just want to respond to a couple people in the chat, show some show some love. Um, I think you could actually see it as well. I'm just kind of going back a little bit. Um, yeah, we got people in here. Calby buried his credit one card in his litter box by Icarus. Let me make sure. I think I saw a couple things. A lot of people are in 524 jail. Sledge is asking, what's 524? Some people say Chase is overrated. And okay, so one of the main before we actually move on, we have to ask. Oh, Spencer says hi, Toad. He's been noticed. We and Sledge corrected you. He's actually on the 32nd card, but the 33rd is coming in the mail. So I guess he's on 33 cards now. So
That's great.
That's insane.
That's solid. Solid. I have to say, those people who have more than like 20 credit cards, I mad respect. I could never keep track of that many. Like I struggle to keep track of like 15, and that's still a lot. But compared to everyone with like 20 plus, 30 plus, like kudos to you guys.
Seriously. And Mark Reese apparently has 40 plus cards. Doc just said, "Oh my god, is that true? He has 40 plus cards."
Yeah, and that was like he wrote a video about that maybe 1 or 2 years ago. So I'm sure he is much
Oh
more
yeah,
now.
he's at 100 now. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question. A lot of people were really, really intrigued to know this. They really wanted to know. So I just want to kind of brace you for this question that's about to hit because it takes a lot out of me, and I have to really dig deep in my future or my past and just think about this. So the question that everyone has on their mind for you is, are you team Amex Classic Gold or team Amex Rose Gold?
Oh my god. I have to choose my words carefully because I respect CJ very much because CJ is first on almost every video. I have no idea how he does it. He must have made some sort of bot that does it for him or something because he's always first. But CJ, I'm sorry, I am team classic gold.
Let's go.
Because like I said before in many streams before, the rose gold, in my opinion, looks like kind of a dirty platinum. I don't know what to say about that. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love the rose gold, but like I like the color of the classic gold. It looks beautiful. It looks like what gold should look like. And CJ, I mean, no disrespect or anyone else out there who loves the rose gold, but that's just my personal opinion, and we'll kind of see, what the response is.
Well, people are happy. Let's just say that the people have been appeased. We got Sean Spencer. Everyone's screaming, "Gold, let's go!" Oh, and Keith S coming in hot with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
He says, hold on, we'll come back to the rose gold. He says I'm 524 and add 3 cards in the past 60 days. I want the Hilton Amex business card, 150K and a free night. Should I apply? Chase won't give me a Business World of Hyatt card. What do you think, Stan? So he's at 524. Should he get the Amex business because Chase won't give him anything?
Yeah. So Keith is one of those guys that we talked in the comments before. He has a lot of spend. He runs through tons of spend in his business, and so that's something that is really really awesome. He's been a really valued commenter. So thank you, Keith, for all of that. I think in your situation, you don't want to miss out on this biz card offer, the Hilton Amex biz card, because it does have that ridiculous sign up bonus right now. I think it lasts to the 19th, which is this Wednesday or something. So it's pretty soon. You do have Amex cards already. I think you should just go for it. I don't know why you would not go for it. You probably get a soft pull. You may get pending approval, and then you may just have to call the reconsideration line. Now I don't know what your Amex total cards are. I know you're 524 and you have multiple cards in the past 60 days, but if you have 4 to 6 Amex credit cards, that may present a problem because you have to look back at those cards and say, which one of those can I burn within the next year, or which ones can I burn that I've had for a year or more, so I can make room for this new card if the reason for my denial is, well, you have the max number of cards that we allow. That's what I would look for if you get that pending approval and you call reconsideration line. Because I've done this now twice with the Marriott Bonvoy business card and the Hilton business card when I had that lesser sign up bonus offer. And
Hmm.
so just knowing in your mind beforehand which card can I get rid of and not anger the Amex gods because I closed a card before the 12-month period, that's going to be helpful to know. So you can be like on the front, okay, I want to cancel my, Blue Business Plus card, which is what I burned off, which kind of sucked, but I had to do it to get that Marriott Bonvoy Bonvoy business card at the time.
Hmm. And you kind of mentioned earlier, because now I'm a little curious. You mentioned something where, okay, all of your credit cards are kind of you're covered. Your foundation is covered for, the credit cards that you have. And you mentioned like, oh, I'm getting certain cards now, like a lot of us do. For the sign up bonus, and maybe after a year we'll do something else with it. We'll get rid of it. Do you have that same advice for business cards?
For business cards in general or Amex business cards in specific?
I guess in general.
Okay. What was the question again? I just want to make sure I
So,
can answer it
would
correctly.
you also consider like, oh, getting a business card just for the sign-up bonus, and then after you're canceling it? Like, is that something you would do?
That's what I've been doing.
That's
I
what you
haven't done it long enough to know if it's a problem
Yeah.
in terms of getting into pop-up jail or not.
Mm,
But the thing is, if you'll never with Amex, it's really nice because you'll never know until you try. For the personal side, you have that apply with confidence feature where they'll soft pull you and be like, you're approved for this card or not. So you don't have to like worry about that kind of stuff. But for the business side, you also will get a soft pull. And if you get denied, you get denied, but it's like you soft pulled yourself. So like
mhm,
what's the downside? There really is none.
yeah.
If they pending approval you can just call the reconsideration line. If they straight up deny you, you can still call the
Mm,
reconsideration line. And if they approve you, it's great. The only limitation I can see right now is the number of credit cards you have or the
mm,
number of charge cards you have. As you know, it's like 10 for charge cards, and it's 4 through 6, depending on who your staff with American Express at the time, to see like what that, if you knew what that number was, then you can plan ahead and say, this is most likely the reason I would get denied if I were to get denied.
hmm. And
So
he
I'd say,
also,
I say go
mhm.
for it.
And Keith actually came back in. He said, "I'm more trying to behave for Chase. I really want the World of Hyatt business card for globalists. Chase denied me last week. Otherwise, I'd sign up for the Hilton business card without pause." Hmm. Hmm.
So it's a good point. I'm not. I don't think there's any reason why you would not apply for the Hilton business card just because it doesn't appear on that personal credit report, and you won't get a hard pull for that usually. I think you have to weigh the pros and cons of your situation, and I think I want to say that I've never seen a better sign-up bonus than the Hilton business card than basically for any other card. Like the amount of spend you have to do in the time period for what you get back, which is 150K plus the FNA, that's ridiculous. That's like a really good deal. And so that would be my top priority if that was a card that I could apply for, but I already have it, so I can't apply for it again.
Hmm.
Although I will say that I did see that video by Luke, who he's had it before, but he applied through a different EIN, and they gave it to him too,
Hmm.
which is pretty awesome too. So he was able to get that card and take advantage of that sign-up bonus. So that's not even an impediment either.
Hmm.
So for Amex, if you're in a good standing, you have a personal card ready, there's only be a soft pull, I would just say go for it. There's nothing to lose. Chase is much more strict, and so you have to be careful with them. But because Amex only soft pulls your credit cards, both personal and business, you can apply with them and not have to worry about it.
Hmm. Interesting. So now, as you're talking, I kind of want to have you settle something in my own life, um, if you'd be willing. So I'm kind of thinking of kind of what you're talking about, getting the Hilton business card, but I'm kind of in between worlds. I'm like, I probably only want to have a spend of around that much, like 4,000 around about, within the next few months, etc. But I'm considering because my annual fees coming up on my Charles Schwab Platinum. So I'm like, do I get the Hilton business card, or do I just try to get the retention and just deal with one thing at a time? Any advice for that?
I mean, again, I would just go for it. I don't see any reason why you would not apply for this type of sign-up bonus right now. Like this is like one of the best ones we can
Yeah.
see. You may end up in pop-up jail. You don't know. You don't know until you try.
Yeah.
that's the thing. And if you are popular, just say no. Just I don't want to apply for the card and kind of move on from that.
Mm.
Um, I think the retention offer will always be there for you. The sign-up bonus, of course, it will come up again. I mean, Amex is very good at this. They say it's a limited time offer, but then it comes back in like a year or 6 months
Yeah.
or something. But this is again the highest I've ever seen, and I think
Yeah.
it's a really good opportunity. And because there is no hard pull if you get denied or pending approval, there
Hmm.
really is no reason not to do it,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Hmm. That's true. And you're right. I mean, the retention offer will essentially be there in a few more months after that, when it's October, November, even though the annual fee is going to hit in August.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Not too bad.
Yeah,
Not too bad. Some people say go for the Hilton business as well. Mm-mm-mm. Icarus, we are closing all of your Amex cards. Have a nice day.
yeah, that would be a
Um,
bummer for sure.
yeah, and so so we already moved past it, but let's just say CJ was offended by the rose gold comment, and
Oh,
yeah,
it's okay. I feel like I offend CJ on an everyday basis, so it's fine.
that's that's right. Oh no, CJ, man, you're guilting everybody. Jeez, that's funny. I kind of wanted to know. I kind of like the role we're going on here with just straight cards, but I kind of want to get to know you a little bit too. A little bit about your life. Are you comfortable talking about like past schooling, high school, all that
I
stuff?
don't. I don't want. I'm a man of the people, so if people want me to answer the questions, I'm cool with that. If you want to talk about my life, I'm cool with that too. It just what the people want.
So let us know. We got 30 seconds before that hits, guys. Let us
Drop it
know.
down in the chat. We have a list of questions to go through from the Discord,
Yeah,
I think, and from my post. Or do you want to learn more about me? I will leave it up to you guys. Whichever you guys want to talk about.
yeah. Let's hear it. Either way, I'm having a good time. But I'll get your questions ready. Uh, so this way we have it. Hey, Matt Welter just joined.
I
What's
see
going
Matt
on, Matt?
Welcher. What's up, Matt? Good to see you.
Hmm.
Also, Chad. I think Chad was back there. Good to see you, Chad. Sledge here's in the comments. Cesar's here. Oh, Cesar. Okay, you get me in trouble here. Cesar said, "How many girlfriends, Stan?" And I,
Let's go. Those are the questions we wanted.
I am currently engaged to my lovely fiance, so I only have one fiance, 0 girlfriends.
Just one. That's it.
Just one. Just want to make
Yes.
that abundantly clear if she is watching in the other room.
Unbelievable. Yeah, right. Exactly right. That's funny. Stan has 10 girlfriends, Matt said.
Oh
And
God.
Eric Gao says that she knows of.
Everybody, okay. Everyone wants to know about the frog. This is really
Yeah.
funny because, I mean, I made my channel. It was really called The Credit Frog without my name Stan, but then eventually people just knew me as Stan, so I was just like Stan the Credit Frog. But
Yeah.
I did make it The Credit Frog because of a very specific reason, and it's come to July 15th. So almost 18 months after I started my channel, this is the first time anyone has ever asked me a question about the frog, which you can see
I did have
right
it
over
queued
there.
up too. I was gonna ask. Let's hear, man. Hold on. Before you answer, we'll
Sure.
set it up for the short. The short will be ready. We'll say, oh, and then Chad's coming in. Oh my God, derailing us, Chad. $10 super chat. I appreciate you, man. Oh God, hold on. Let's come back to it because we're gonna derail for. Oh, what the hell? Wait a second. What the hell is that?
I don't know what DZD is, but thank
DCD.
you for that.
Oh, MR's traveling. Oh my God, we've been derailed. I'm thinking. Wait, hold on. That was 5. That was 10. That was 15. So that's about $5-6. What is DZD?
Have to Google that. Hold on.
I can't even think.
Oh,
Are you Denmark?
Algerian Dinar.
You're in Algeria?
Algerian Dinar. I don't know what the
Algeria.
conversion rate is, but that's fine. We'll come back to that.
Hey, Algerians are interesting. I think they speak Arabic and French there. I think they're kind of mixed there. Okay. Well, this is why I love these because it's just you never know what's gonna
Yeah, you
happen.
never know. No, you're right.
Okay, so Chad wanted to know first when you get in that Centurion card, bro.
Okay, so we'll get to the frog conversation later. But
Yes.
for the Centurion card, I mean, I would get it whenever they gave it to me. I mean, contrary to what many of you probably think about me, I don't really have a lot of spending on any of my cards. I try to keep my spending as low as possible, and so I am like nowhere near the 250K on the platinum for multiple years to get the black card. Having said that, if I were to be offered the black card like today, I would do it. I'd be fine with paying a $10,000 initiation fee and the $5,000 annual fee
Wow.
just for the YouTube channel. I mean, I think it's a terrible deal for
Yeah.
me, but like, but I would do it just because it's such a cool card. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to get that card. I think if I were to go for that card, what I would do would be is I would get a business platinum card, and
Hmm.
I would be like Keith, and I would run a bunch of spend through that platinum card, like 20,000, 25,000 a month, and then do that for about a year or two. And if you do that, you will most likely be offered an opportunity to get the Centurion card, the Centurion business card. I think getting Centurion personal card is not really worth it for literally anybody except for maybe like celebrities. But if you had a business that was running through a lot of spend, I could see that being a reasonable card to get if you have that business platinum card.
Not bad, man. And people were like, doing it just for the YouTube channel? And Keith says, Stan, why? For the black card, it sucks for the points of miles. I'm unsubscribing. You just lost Keith, man.
That's unfortunate. I love Keith too. No,
Yeah.
it's something that I think I would do it for the YouTube channel. I mean, it's really just an aesthetic card. Like it's not worth it for a lot of people, but it's something that we all like look at because it's like, oh my gosh, invite only. It looks so cool, and
Yeah.
so I would do it if I had the opportunity to, but I would not keep it long term. Obviously, it would be something that would be just for like kicks and giggles, so to speak.
Hmm. Makes sense. I'm about to go join the Dubai Royale family and get that Dubai Royale card just for the YouTube channel. I'll move there and I'll assimilate. Anyway, and then an MMR came in with his, I guess, his Algerian dinars, saying, "I love this community," which we love you too. And it's days like this where we're just kind of hanging out, and I'm in the middle of a rainstorm. It's
I don't think it's ready anymore.
you
It
know,
looks like it's pretty clear now.
it's cleared up. Yeah, the heavens have
Yeah,
opened for
that's good.
us. And then Calby coming in. Oh my god. Calby with $5. Oh my god, you guys are so appreciated, man. Really, this is you guys are amazing. Calby says, "Frog story, please." Okay,
Okay.
so let's
So
set it up so you can have a short. So you can have a short. I'll say, Stan, what's the deal with Stan the Credit Frog? Where'd you get that name?
so the credit frog was something that I came up with as the name of my YouTube channel because I wanted to think about something that was easy to remember and I didn't want to take a lot of time thinking about the name of my channel. So my girlfriend at the time, which is who is now my fiance, she loves frogs. And this is actually one of her favorite stuffed animals, is that
Hmm.
frog. And so because of her and my love for her and frogs, I decided to aptly name the channel The Credit Frog.
That's the story. That's the story.
That's it. It was because of my girlfriend, and she loved frogs, and I was like, I didn't have a better name at the time, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go with The Credit Frog, and it just stuck. Everyone just started to use it, and I was like, this is great. I'm gonna roll with it. And so now it's Stan the Credit Frog.
But do you? I have to pry further. But do you love frogs yourself?
Personally, I think they're okay.
No.
I hope she's not watching this because it's gonna get really awkward. But
Yeah.
she loves frogs, and because she's such an important part of my life, I wanted to make sure that she was a part of this too. And so one way for me to do that is to actually check out this frog up here. Now, one thing you may not know is actually down here, she did add something else to my
Oh.
setup here. It's kind of blurry. It used to be a Southwest plane, but that is a jellycat, and she
Mm.
also loves jellycats. And so that's kind of what I spend on the Saks website for the platinum credit. So $50 every 6 months. I just look up the jellycats that they offer and kind of get them for her as gifts because she loves that. So she wanted to put this. This is the aloe vera jellycat, and so that's now sitting there on my shelf.
Wow. Matt says, "So do you guys have pet frogs running around in the apartment? just all day long, just running around."
I don't.
Oh,
Just to clarify, Calby, I don't hate frogs. It's just this is her favorite amphibian, her favorite animal, and so that's why I have it as the credit frog, and so she's a part of that just as much as me.
oh my god. Oh god, here come the puns. It was riveting. Richie MR says it was riveting. Richie says toad Ali digging the puns. Oh, oh, you know what? In
That's
light of
funny.
this, I have to ask you, Stan. I have a question for you. Um, and Richie and MR says, "Way to hop to it." So Stan, I have a question for you. The question is, what did the frog do when he got into a car accident?
Oh, I don't know. That what did he do?
He got a toad.
Oh, I love that. He got his toad.
Oh,
These
real
jokes are
funny,
great. I love
Anthony.
these puns. Keep
Yeah.
keep coming. Keep them coming. I love them.
What did the frog order at McDonald's?
A McRibbit.
Oh, that's actually a good answer. Yeah. Well, at least the frogs that I know, that is an answer. My answer, my friend who is a frog, he usually gets a Diet Coke and a side of flies. So that's what he
Oh, that's good too.
that's what he likes. And CJ, $5, man. You guys are insane. CJ, oh
Oh,
no.
CJ with the super chat coming in hot.
I'm gonna have to admit that rose gold is best. Repeat after me. Rose gold is the absolute best. CJ, you are right. Oh no, I said it. What am I doing?
Well, CJ did put the super chat, so I think I have to say it now, although I don't believe it, but I will try to do it with the straightest face I
No, no,
can.
no. I'll refund it. I'll refund
So
it. It's
hold
fine.
on. No, CJ didn't do the super chat. I gotta respect that. So
Okay.
rose gold is the absolute best. CJ, you are right. I know. I think he's like dying in his chair.
We can't allow that.
Oh, Tony. Oh, Tony.
That's not. We're not supposed to monetize his journey or in his plight in life, which is that classic gold's a waste. We're not. You're not monetizing your life. We're refunding that. Sorry. Was that done on a
Okay.
rose gold? Did you pay with your rose gold?
He probably did.
Oh Lord. Uh, Anthony should be a stand-up comedian. Yeah, right. I thought I had another. I
Oh,
thought I
boy.
had another frog joke, but I can't remember.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Oh man, I thought I had a third one. I always have like three that are floating around for whatever reason. Who knows? But that definitely was riveting. It's history now. Watch, CJ's gonna make his first short ever, and it's gonna be you saying that the rose gold is the best.
You have to make a counter start where we had beforehand. We had the other one where I said the classical was best. So you can fire that one away too.
Yes, we have more ammo. Yeah, and I thought it was a good. Abdullah he came in earlier and he said your next video should be how many people have said Team Classic Gold, and I might just be putting that all together. We might just get a whole a compilation of people saying Rose Gold. Abdullah he said I should go outside and try to find a frog outside. There are some out here. Actually, in the middle of the night, if it was like night out right now, 9 or 10, we would see some frogs around.
Oh,
Oh my
you
god!
check this Keith super chat.
Whoa!
Oh, my boy Keith
Jesus
coming in
Christ!
hot. No, this is. I mean, super chat's great, but I'm more happy for Keith going for the credit card and getting it. That's huge. And if he got the sign up bonus too, like that's awesome. I think that was totally worth it. Way to go, Keith. Way to like live your life. And now you're gonna get this awesome card with this awesome bonus, and you're not going to be unhappy with your decision. I think you did the right thing. Good job, congratulations.
Jesus, Stan, you're out here changing lives, man.
Also, thanks to super chat. That's also nice too. But like, I'm happy
Yes.
for you, Keith. That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate you, man. Oh Lord, man, I'm happy. I'm happy Stan converted you and got that Hilton. Now I'm good. Now I should do it. Now I should just go get the Hilton business. Do it live.
You're gonna see like the next week, everyone's applying this Hilton business card. Like, watch me apply Hilton business card.
Like, why did you get yours? Well, we were just watching this live stream with Stan the Credit Frog, and all of a sudden I was compelled.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I should just I don't know how I get paid by Amex, but Amex just probably convert a lot of new customers or new card products from today's live stream.
Yeah. Sledge says you have to apply for the Aspire today. I can't get that yet, man. I don't know. I can't get that yet. Maybe. I don't know.
That's well, think about it. It's you have until Wednesday to think about it, and that's when I think the sub closes. So, but again, due to all those who can't do this now, it will come back. Like that's something that's gonna happen. It may take 6 months or 12 months, but it will come back, and then you'll be able to figure out if that's the best sub for you at the time. So for American Express, I know they always say limited time sign up bonus, but just take it easy, take it slow. If you can't make the sub, don't force yourself to do it. But that's something that you just want to make sure you understand is that they will come back. You know, will come back, maybe even better. You don't even know. But this is a really good sign up bonus right now for Hilton Business.
Definitely. Michael Wong said we should all get the Hilton business card. This is do it live, Anthony. I can't do it live. Especially not on my iPhone 8 Plus, the burner phone. That has no connection. That thing will not work. Oh, and do a video on it. Oh Lord, this is great. You guys are amazing. Jeez. MR is going for a second Aspire later this year, and then after he's done gardening. Lord. Stan, which do you have which Hilton cards do you have?
I only have a Hilton business card
I
actually.
just had
So
that.
I have never gotten the Hilton Surpass, or Hilton Aspire. Those are my last three I'm going to get. I'm going to ignore the Delta cards just because I don't fly Delta. Maybe in the future I may, but I think those are my last three Amex cards I'm going to get. And that's just going to be repeating no lifetime language business platinums and business golds, and that's going to be kind of my story with Amex. I'm starting to move away from Amex because I have a lot of the cards I already like wanted from them.
Hmm.
But the Hilton ladder is going to be a big one because you can do, obviously, as everyone here knows, the whole Hilton ladder strategy where you apply for one,
Yeah.
upgrade to the other one, apply for that one you just upgraded to, etc., and downgrade, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's what I'm kind of doing at the moment.
Nice.
Oh my God, Calby, I'll apply for you. I have my laptop opened up, and then Calby said, "Bad Stan, Delta's the best." Uh-oh.
I don't fly Delta. I mean, I'm sure they're the best, but if I don't fly them, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, right. Oh Lord. MR, I'm overseas 100 plus days a year, so that weird setup works well for me.
Oh yeah, Matt's coming in here with the Hilton ladder strategy. It says goated. I would just say it says goat, but yeah, Matt's got some really good stuff on the Hilton cards. He's actually who I saw who got me into Hilton cards, as well as the Alaska cards. So definitely check out his content if you have not already.
Oh no! And now there's a fight going on. Oh God, Delta's horrible. Now Calby, now we're gonna have to have a follow-up stream. Calby and Matt are gonna have to have a debate stream on why Delta's.
I see Cesar's got to go, so goodbye, Cesar. Thanks for a great time.
See you, Caesar. Enjoy, man.
I love, by the way, before Caesar goes, I love doing the thing where I comment back to him. I'm just like, thanks, Cesar, or whatever. I can, when you press your E on your keyboard and make the like accent on it. I love doing that. You know, make sure that I get that accent on that Cesar.
Mr. Bank Relations, but I know that's Sean, comes in and says, Anthony Venture, what's Stan's strategy on managing multiple credit cards? All get a small transaction a month, every 3 months, 6 months. So I guess to just have some spend on them. How do you kind of coordinate?
Got it. Yeah, I can answer that right now if you want. So that's Mr. Bank Relations. Do you know his name?
I think it's Sean.
Anthony? Sean. Okay. Yeah. So Sean, so what I do is pretty simple. I don't have like that many. I have like 15 or so credit cards. And so there's a core setup, and then there's a setup that's more annual, like no annual fee cards in the back that kind of just hang out. And so those cards, I put one monthly charge. So for example, a lot of them have like one membership fee to like a YouTube channel. So for example, I have Spencer Johnson on one of them. I have Luke Points and Miles on another one of them. I have Matt Welch on another one of them. So I distribute those membership fees, which are like $2, $5, etc. And so every month they get charged, and then I have them on auto pay. And so I never look at them. And if for whatever reason there's going to be some fraudulent charge, I know it's fraudulent because there's no other charge on that card. And so they auto run themselves, which is really helpful because if it's on auto pay, you just kind of have them keep going. and that's really helpful. Overall, from how I manage all of them, I use You Need a Budget, which is called YNAB. It's a budgeting software, but I actually use it more for expense tracking. I can see all of my transactions on that one software on my phone and on my computer, and I can actually track all my cards. And because all my cards, when I open them, I make all the due dates or statement close dates the same day. Then following day, I just go down the line and just pay them all off all at once manually.
Hmm.
And so that's how I always keep track of all of those credit cards. So that's why I say if I had 30 or 40, it'd be like really overwhelming. But because I only have like, 10, 15, that's not terrible. And like half of those are already auto pay. So I don't even look at those. So I realistically I only have like 5 or 6 I look at on a monthly basis. And the other one just kind of keep track of, in that YNAB app and make sure nothing suspicious is going on at the time.
Interesting. And Keith S also came in hot with another $2. Appreciate you, man. My God. And he said, "What's your budget for annual fees, Stan?"
Oh my God. Budget for annual fees. It's going to sound not great, but I don't have a budget for annual fees because right now I have, I think, 4,000 plus in annual fees for all of my cards combined. A lot. Yeah. I
What?
actually got rid of, I have a lot. If you look at previous videos, I have tons of annual fees, but a lot of those annual fees, at least half of that, are on year one cards. So like those cards will get canceled the first year. So I got the sign months for that. So that's going to make up for the annual fee, irregardless of the benefits, anyways. Even I still
Yeah.
even use those. So there really is, I would say, no budget for annual fees. I would say that I try actively to get the annual fees as low as possible that I possibly can. I don't like paying annual fees. I actually like more no annual fee cards, but I appreciate the value that annual fees can bring. Like one example is the platinum card. Very simply, it's got a high annual fee, but because I travel 5 times a month and I use the lounges every single time I travel, that by itself will get me value plus all the credits I use on the card plus. So it's a necessary evil is how I would call it, is these annual fees. And if an annual fee for whatever reason stops making sense, so if I stop traveling every month or what have you, and it doesn't make sense anymore, canceled, or downgraded. At least at the very least, it's gonna be downgraded. So that's really, really important, is to just know what your limit is for annual fees and to make sure you stick by it, to make sure you always get that value, either with statement credits or with, what your lifestyle is like, and those credits actually make sense for you.
Hmm. So is that 4,000 every year, or are these ones that are going to be canceled soon?
Well, it's 4,000 right now. If you look at it, it's for about 4,000. I just recently dumped the reserve card, which I got for the
Yeah.
Delta 767, 747
Right. Yeah.
aesthetic, right? That was
Which
the
I
only reason
still
I
want to
got it.
buy from you.
It's a beautiful card, and
Hmm.
I recently dropped that's 550 off. My business
Hmm.
platinum is coming for renewal. That's going to be dropped off, so that's another 695 out the door, right? So that's
Yeah.
gone. And
Hmm.
so you have to systematically just know which card you applied for the year one only, and that's for me um, a lot of my main cards. Oh, sorry, a lot of my cards now that I apply for are only year one cards.
Hmm.
And so as long as you keep track of that and you get the value from those year one cards from the sign up bonus plus more, that's going to be okay.
Hmm.
But not everyone's going to want to pay, you know, $700, $500 for a card, even though the value is really good there. And I want to just also point out that even though I've been using credit cards for about 20 years, I've only been doing this high annual fee stuff for the last 2.
Hmm.
Like the other like 18 years I've been using credit cards have been basically no annual fee, maybe a $95 annual fee here and there. That's about it. So I just
Hmm.
want to point that out that I haven't been doing this for like a long, long time. It's just been more recent when I felt like my finances were in order. I could really handle those annual fees.
Hmm.
That's when I started to go into it. And once you have that ability to do that, then you can really start going to town on it.
Hmm.
Because these annual fee cards that are high are usually premium cards with high minimum spend requirements, and you don't want to overspend to get those sign up bonuses because that's still not doing you any good anyways. And so that's what I want to also mention too.
For sure. And it's always a good caveat, make sure you have your finances order. Probably shouldn't be accumulating annual fees if you're in debt of any sort. Credit score's not high, etc. It's a recipe for disaster. And actually,
Yeah,
it's perfect segue to the title and the thumbnail, which is because you're also not factoring in, I think, your free Morgan Stanley Platinum card every year, huh?
right. Yeah. So that's also the reason why I wanted to get that card was because it was better to get last year when the interest rate was 0.5%. I mean, now it's like way higher than that. So now it's kind of
Mm,
like, I don't know if I want to get this card now. But the issue why I'm keeping it is because of it's really hard to get right now in this time frame because they canceled that Access investing account.
mm,
It's hard to get that investment relationship with Morgan Stanley without dropping like 100K into like one of their AAA accounts.
mm.
So I've heard rumors that some people with E-Trade, their E-Trade accounts are being converted to Morgan Stanley accounts by September. Now, those E-Trade accounts that are self-directed investment accounts can actually be used as a qualifying investment account for Morgan Stanley for the Platinum Cash Plus account. That would open the door again to other people getting this card. Although I wouldn't probably recommend it because the interest rate by that point may be even higher than it is now,
Hmm.
because you do have to keep that $25,000 in a Platinum Cash Plus account, which bears literally like zero interest, basically.
Hmm.
So you have to do kind of a plus and minus uh, analysis, like in terms of your tax rate, your ordinary tax rate, and your interest rate that you're losing because you're not putting that 25 grand in somewhere else. It's like a lot of math. Right now, it's still worth it to me, but because
Hmm.
of it's so hard to get at this point, I think it's worth just like doing that math for you. And I have a video on that
Hmm.
whole thing, so definitely check that out if that interests you for any reason.
Definitely. And we'll get into well, as Keith screamed at you earlier, I noticed he was like 4,000. That's a car payment. he's he's not letting you go today. He's he's finally got a chance to attack you. So
That's fine, I'll keep taking it.
right.
He's right. We want to make sure that we know that
Mm,
annual fees can also be bad. They're not
yes.
always the best thing for everybody. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own situation. So make sure it makes sense for you.
Agreed.
What makes sense
Agreed.
for me or you, Tony, not makes sense for everybody else. And
Hell
as long
yeah.
as you understand kind of what we're doing and why we're doing it, that's going to really help push you into figuring out what's best for you. And that's kind of why we do what we do, essentially. So you
Yeah.
can get all these different like data points of like what we are doing personally, so you can figure that out for yourself.
For sure. And you could see it in the way we talk about things, or we we push things. Like I canceled my platinum card, I downgraded my surpass, saving a good amount of money. Um, on those two annual fees themselves, and some more moves, of course, to come. Looks like CJ and Matt said they got to run.
Okay,
Peace out,
CJ, Matt,
guys.
good to see you guys.
Peace out.
See you guys
Appreciate
later.
being here. Yeah.
CJ's
Um,
gonna like totally take that rose gold thing to the next level. I'm kind of nervous now.
I know. I know. He's gonna go on a spree. He's gonna private message all of us. That wasn't cool, man.
Oh
That
boy.
wasn't cool. Let's take some questions from. So we had a couple questions from a couple different sources. You had a community post. I put it out on the Discord. Um, so if you want, we can get into that real quick.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna just close out a chat here so I can just focus on the camera.
Cool. Okay, so for the questions from the Discord that I have, if you're not already join the Venture Capital Discord. What are you doing? And of course, the pinned comment is Stan's channel. If you're not already subscribe to Mr. Stan. Um, Great guy. So the first question came in the Discord from Matt Clausen, and he asked, "Who would Stan want to see get transfer partners? Who don't currently have them? Or who don't currently have them? U.S. Bank or Bank of America? Would you rather
Hmm.
either or get transfer partners?"
That's a great question. I think both of them can never get to the upper tiers where Citi, Capital One, Amex, and Chase are, just because they have no transfer partners. And if they actually added them, they could actually be real competitors. I'm going to go with US Bank on this one, and there's a couple reasons why. I think US Bank credit cards are much more accessible to people with good rewards, like the Cash Plus, for example, L2 Go, great no annual fee credit cards that have real value, that are really, really good. To my knowledge, well, I know that Bank of America does not have any 5% cashback cards unless you do have assets with them. What's
Hmm.
interesting about both Bank of America and US Bank is that US Bank, so the both of them are relationship banks. So Bank of America, I would say, has that preferred reward system. US Bank, they don't outwardly say that they require you to have a checking account with them, but just to be quite honest, you should have a checking account with them when you apply for the credit card. It just makes the application process a lot easier. And so, um, because of that, I would think that US Bank, because they have a better accessory of cards to use, I would like to see them have more transfer partner options, especially with that altitude lineup, altitude reserve, altitude go, altitude connect. All those cards can make great trifectas or setups of that nature, but because you cannot transfer US bank points from one altitude card to another, it kind of sucks. So that's the first thing
Mhm.
they got to do. The second thing they can do is they add transfer partners. Then they have a real, they can really compete with the other banks, Amex, Chase, Citi, Capital One. Bank of America kind of stuck in the water. Like their cards just ultimately just suck if you don't have preferred rewards system. Other than, like I mentioned earlier in this live stream, the CCR card, the customized cash rewards card, which is a good 3% card. That's no annual fee, but that's literally the only one they have that's actually worth getting. The
Mm.
other ones are only helpful if you have preferred reward status, specifically platinum or platinum honors tier. That's when their cards get super powerful. It's kind of like, 0 to 60 real fast. There's no middle ground with them. You have to really like either have 0 with them or a 50K plus with them to even consider the credit cards as a viable option.
Mm.
That's my opinion. So that's a
Gotcha.
long answer to Matt Clausen's question.
And he was in the live chat here, and he said nailed it. So that
Oh, good, good. I'm glad I answered your question. That's awesome.
he's enthused. Sledge came in. Sledge, my man, Sledge. He came
Sledge
in
the
and
man.
yeah, Mr. Do Your Research, Mr. Separation as the Preparation. Great guy, great channel. He came in and said, "Hey Stan, how many first Premier Bank cards do you plan to get in the future, and how many do you already have?"
So is it First Republic Bank or First Bank or what was it called again?
First Premier Bank. Come on,
First
you know.
Premier Bank. I don't actually know about this bank. I know it's um I had to do my research to figure out what that bank was and like what the credit card it and so basically I don't have any. I don't plan to have any first Premier Bank cards. They are some pretty bad cards. I'm not going to say this as well as Sledge. They're not just trash. They are trash
Oh,
cards.
oh
And
no.
so their cards are just I mean their APR is like 36%. Like they've got like an increase that there it is. You got the question. Their annual fees, they have like a progressive annual fee system that's both annual and monthly, and there's some initiation fee. There's like and the credit limit's like $700 maximum. It's like why do you even bother with that card? Now, there are other great cards to use if you're having issues with credit. If you have lower credit, you can use things like secured cards from Discover or Chase, some real banks that actually have cards that can get you positive value at some point. I think those other banks, like First Premier, are just predatory. You should just stay away from them.
Well, I don't know what to say to that because unfortunately I don't know if you're in the know, Stan, but Sledge is actually he took over as the CEO pretty recently, and I think he's looking to really take it to the next level. He actually just came in live chat and he said, "All right, so I'll put you down for the Surge card. Only has 700 in fees and no benefits. Sound great, right?"
Sounds awesome. I can't wait.
I'm not sure if he sold it though. I know he became CEO recently, and then now he's CEO of Centennial Finance. But I gotta see. We gotta see. But you gotta have predatory cards like that. We want cards like the CEO of Credit One mentioned on our stream. He said as long as they swipe the card and interest gets hit immediately, those are the cards that people really want.
Sure. Okay.
Unreal.
Guess we'll go with that.
Right. Chad also asked a question, but he actually asked it via super chat here earlier, so we got to him a little earlier. But
Oh, okay.
Centurion card, you already mentioned that you don't really have enough spend, and if you were to get it, it would be for the YouTube channel. Um, Calby came in, and he came in the Discord. He said, "Is there a real reason Stan is going for insane credit limits, or is it just vanity? Because some of those limits are kind of insane, and he still wants to continue to increase them."
Sure. So that's a good question about the credit limit. So I did a video a long time ago, like a year ago, about my credit limit. At that time I had about 275. I think now I'm at around 325, and that wasn't really like I'm aiming for that. What I was trying to do was get all of my credit cards to a certain level. And so I'd like to have most of my credit cards at the 25,000 level. 35,000 is fine, 40,000 is fine too. But it really isn't, because I want to get as much credit limit as possible. Because at some point, it's not necessary anymore. Like you have to look at your spend and your credit utilization and figure out what's best for you. So, for example, if you spend 3,000 on your credit cards total, you don't really need more than like 30,000 credit limit realistically, because that's
Hmm.
under 10%. So if you have 100,000, that's going to be like 3%, which is even better. If you have 300,000, that's 1%, it's even better. So that's it's really more of a vanity metric at that point. It's not like it makes you better or worse, in my opinion, especially if you keep your spending very low. Because ultimately, what you want to do, and what I do, is keep spending as low as possible, regardless of credit limit. But because I think when you have a higher credit limit, that utilization can be an issue. You want to get as high as you possibly can, but after a certain point, it's just based off of how many banks you apply for credit for. For the Luckily for me, I've been very fortunate to have a higher credit limit. I think it's interesting to see how high I can go without getting a financial review, because luckily I haven't had one of those yet. But if I keep pushing those buttons, I may end up getting one. So for Amex, I've actually stopped trying to get higher limits because I know I'm kind of at that limit at that point.
Hmm.
The last card open is the Bonvoy Brilliant card, and actually Amex sent me a letter saying that, oh, congratulations on your new Brilliant card. By the way, we took some credit from your other credit card, if you didn't notice, to open that card for you,
Hmm.
because we have already maxed out on the credit limit total that we'd give to you, in general. So I know I'm maxed out on Amex at this point. And so now I'm just trying to look for different issuers to open up cards. Not that it matters, what the limit would be. I would prefer not to have like I'm going to do it, not a CJ level credit limit,
Oh
because
my God! Even when he can't even defend himself, come on, Stan.
well, after that rose gold situation, I had to put that in there. So yeah, I
Oh.
wouldn't like I'd like a high enough credit limit so I could use it. Like more than $1,000 would be preferable. More than 5,000, 10,000 is better, right?
Right.
But sometimes, when you're with a new bank, they may not know you as well enough. You may end up getting $500, $1,000, and that's okay. It's just you just got to keep working at it, keep building up, and that's when you start using those strategies for credit limit increases, or you could transfer credit limit from one card to another. I think there's a lot of different strategies to kind of get your credit limit to be higher. But for myself personally, any higher credit limit now is just more for vanity than it is for actual like real use.
Hmm. Hmm. Not too bad.
Having said that, I don't run a drop shipping business where I
Uh,
funnel through a bunch of money. So if that's you, that may be a different story completely.
right.
But for myself, I can safely say I don't need all that credit limit. But it's nice to have. I'm not going to say it's not nice to have, because it's really cool to have the higher credit limit in the 300Ks, and to have that like a lot of like breathing room to use that credit if necessary. Although I would never ever get close to that limit for sure.
Yeah. Are you? I don't think you are, but maybe you are. Are you counting your MX Pay over time limits into that? You're not,
Nope.
right?
Nope.
Thought so. Huh. That's pretty wild. Mm, awesome. And actually, I think that was it for the Discord. So now we can go into your community posts, and Richie and Sledger are starting to converge on you. Um, he'll change his mind when he gets the premium
Uh oh.
plastic,
Uh oh.
the
Yeah.
ABS
Watch out.
plastic. Okay. So, Jesus Christ, this is too funny. And you're good, Stan?
I'm good.
Cool. Fanta on your comment section, he came in and he said, "Oh man, that's like 1 a.m. for me. I'll try my best to be there because he's in Germany." So I figured we'll give him a shout out because I think he'll be watching this. Um,
Yeah.
eh,
All right, Fanta. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. I know you're not here right now. It doesn't
hmm.
seem like you're in the chat, but hopefully, you see the flash and you'll be able to enjoy it at your own leisure.
He's definitely here in spirit. On a bit of a slightly odder and lighter note, maybe not light. Um, Dragon on your community post, he came in with not a question but a statement, and he said, "You would really benefit from a haircut, my man. I say that with love."
Yes, I saw that one too, and so I get that a lot. I mean, it's an appearance-based question, and I think that for myself, I've never put appearance at the top of my priority list. Like, I don't want to look disheveled, but like I want to make sure that I spend a lot of my time mostly on things that matter to me, and that would be content for this YouTube channel, and obviously my work and my job, and so. the appearance portion is something that I can certainly work on for sure. That's not something that I want to ignore. But definitely, if there was something that would change at the beginning, that would be the haircut.
If there was something you could change in the beginning, gotcha. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's a great answer. Let's talk about what actually matters in life. let's talk about
exactly.
let's talk about how to get, 500,000 credit limits. Let's talk about how to, you know, maximize all of our credit, our credit cards to the best of our ability. However, I will say that people have been wanting me to do a friggin' stupid haircut stream for like 6 months now because I told everyone I cut it myself, and now everyone wants me to go on stream and friggin' but do what I do, which is literally like the most like half-aid thing in the world.
There was a YouTuber that I forgot his name, but he basically did that. Like that was his like YouTube video was during the pandemic was how to cut your own hair
Oh,
during like as like a TikTok on a short, and like he blew up, and now he has like a lot of subscribers on YouTube now. But his initial like fame was to actually do TikToks and shorts on how to cut your own hair. So
wow.
I don't know, something to think about.
Maybe, maybe I should pivot right from here.
Yeah,
Anthony Venture, the hair guy.
yeah. There you go. There you go.
Oh
Second channel
Lord.
on incoming.
All right. All right. Oh Lord. That's so funny. Although that would work because it's like once a month. How much content? I would have to get a month's worth of content every single month. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is this? 94 came in and he said he or she has the CSR, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Morgan
Mhm.
Stanley Platinum Amex. Thanks to you, Stan. What's the
Very
best
good.
way, if any, to get the Black Card or the JP Morgan Palladium? Now you kind of answered that earlier, but
Okay. Yeah, we mentioned the black card already of how I think the best way to go about doing that is to funnel business spend through your business platinum. Just cycle it until I get it to you for the business Centurion. I'm not as familiar with the JP Morgan Chase Palladium. I know that the best way to start is to get through Chase Private Client first.
yeah.
I think to get Chase Private Client, I think it's 150K minimum in a checking account for them to even consider you.
Hmm.
And then there's something else that goes into that as well. Having a personal like advisor, you need to have like
Yeah.
a little bit more assets in that too. And then at that point, you have to get basically what I understand is up to $10 million in assets total to
Hmm.
get the JP Morgan Chase card.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that only because I compared it to Bank of America's version of that, which is Diamond and Diamond Honors. And for Bank of America, those there's nothing credit card related that's important in those tiers, so I just don't even bother worrying about it. But if you have $10 million lying around, that's how you would get the J.P. Morgan Chase Palladium card.
Right. Just get to 10 million and then you'll be fine. But I
Yeah.
remember watching Graham Stephan talking about it on certain live streams, and he kind of talked about getting the Chase private client, like you mentioned, but
Mhm.
having that service being really helpful towards buying real estate. And he said that he's very
Oh, that's
quickly
great.
able to, because he has all of the assets already within Chase. He's already, I guess, pre-checked 10 million in assets, has the card. So I guess it's very easy. He mentions the process of taking all those documents and then giving him a loan on different properties. He's kind of backed by that, which
Mhm.
is interesting. Something to aspire to maybe one day.
Yeah,
Um,
that's great. I mean,
hmm,
if you're in real estate, you have a lot more spend for sure. And so if they can get you those loan products or things faster, that would be great.
hmm, definitely. Um, Also, Taylor Hart came in saying, "Hey, hey Stan, I'm looking to plan 1 to 2 week trip to Italy and maybe a few other spots in Europe within the next couple of years. What are the best travel partners slash reward points to utilize this, in your opinion? I'm new to the credit card travel game, and I'm just looking to add some new cards to snag some sign up bonuses." Hmm.
Okay, that's a great card. Who asked that again?
That was Taylor Hart.
Taylor Hart. Okay,
Yeah.
so Taylor Hart, you're kind of at the beginning. There's as you know, when you start out, there's two aspects to this. There's going to be the earning portion and then the redeeming portion of this. And so, from my perspective, I'm really good at the earning portion. I'm less good at the redemption portion. Not because
Hmm.
I don't like watch a lot of videos on it, only because I have not personally myself done a points redemption to Italy or Europe or those places. So the people that I would refer you to for the redemption portion would be people like Chad, who's gone to
Hmm.
France, I think, before, as well as Luke from Luke's Points and Miles. Like they do this stuff repeatedly, and they know how to get like the maximum value. So watching their content on that's going to be like the best thing to
Mm,
figure out what the best redemption are. Having said that, basic things like British Airways, Avios is a good redemption partner, so I've heard. So that would be one place I would start.
mm,
Now, for the earnings side, when you first start, the best place to start is actually with flexible point currencies. So Chase Ultimate Rewards points, American Express membership rewards points. If that's your goal to get into a trip in 1 or 2 years from now, because those flexible points can transfer to those transfer partners we talked about from before. And because they're flexible, you can put them at any airline that would be relevant to your situation at the time that you do it without having to like, you know, be locked into one point system in terms of one, like only British Airways, only like American Airlines, only like Delta. You have that choice at the end to figure out which transfer partner would I want to go to and why. So
mhm.
that's kind of the two-pronged answer to that question, I would say.
And just because I've been kind of going crazy with trying to redeem a trip to Italy in the next, I don't know, 6 to 8 months around March, I would say, I have a bit of an understanding now of that specific redemption. I've been on calls with
Nice,
Chad, and
nice.
he's been teaching me and stuff. So what I
Yeah.
have found, and we have found, is that some of the best redemptions possible, whether it be at Atlanta or a JFK to Milan, and then you take the trains to different like Rome and etc. We've found that Air France and Emirates has been really good. Now, specifically Air France, I've been checking very
Hmm.
often, and I recently found, for me specifically, a business class flight from JFK to Milan, uh, round trip actually, 110,000 points per person, so 55K one way, which
That's
is
great.
insane. Yeah, it's insane value. All on Air France. Occasionally, you'll see a code share with Korean Air, and they'll be around there too, like
Hmm.
55K business class. However, if you want to do economy, I remember seeing some, or I think as low as, I feel like I even saw as low as like 9,000 Air France miles, which would be the same. It's a 1-to-1 ratio from Amex, so nine
Hmm.
thousand Amex points to Air France. But Chad tells me, you got to go business class. I mean, at least for a trip like that, you got to do it. So, all right, so I'll spend the 200K for 2 round trip tickets.
Anything
And
across the pond, it's worth it to go in business class for sure.
seems so. So I'm excited to do that. Also, you also mentioned, because Taylor Hart mentioned within the next couple of years. I learned this because I just did it in a frenzy. I moved some Amex points to Air France. I realized they actually expire in 2 years as well. So if you're going
Mm,
to transfer those miles to Air France, just know they'll expire in 2 years. So make sure it's within 2 years you're going to redeem them. Maybe there's some other way
good
to
point.
keep them, but yeah. Um, almost through here. Kayonta Whitlow TV came in and said, I have 6 credit cards, 2 secured loans, 3 extra credit cards for my dad that I've been on as an authorized user for a couple of years, and 1.8 age of credit. Oh, 1.8 years age credit, 18 years of credit. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Without authorized user, my utilization is 19% out of 54,000, and I want to get my second Amex card. And I guess he currently has the Blue Business Plus Cash and the Blue Cash Preferred. That's a little over 2 years old. $10,000 limit. $10,000 limit with 23 balance. I'm sorry.
A long question.
I'm trying to understand. 10,000 limit, 23 balance for some reason. I'm still nervous about applying for my first business credit card. I do have an LLC that I started back in March. Do you think, based on these details, I should be fine? He recently got an Amex business checking as well.
I would say just do what Keith did. You will not be disappointed, especially because you have you if
Right.
you have a personal Blue Cash Everyday card, that's already taken care of the hard pull. So now you have soft pulls for all your Amex cards, and you already have a business card with them, the Blue Business Casher. I think that's what you've mentioned before.
Hmm.
So they already have some business relationship with you. So I think if you want to go for another business card, I would just say go for it. And then if you have to call them and talk to the reconsideration line, then you can just do so and see what they say. There's nothing. The Alex is great because there's really no harm. You can always back out of it if you don't, if you're in pop-up jail or there's any kind of issue. And because there's that softball, there really is no downside to applying, in my opinion,
Yeah.
especially for a business card because it doesn't show up into your personal credit report.
Makes sense to me for sure. I think he'd have no issue based on what he mentioned. It seems like he has low balances, etc.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you want to tackle the guessing one next?
Oh, the guessing one. Yes, I did actually pre-prepare that one because I that was going to take a little while. I thought so. Go ahead for that one.
Okay. So this guy, oh, I know Leo Prieto. Leo Prieto, 74, coming in hot. Says, guess, Stan, I want you to guess my 10 premium travel cards, and I'll give you 10 hints. I have 5 Amex cards, 2 business U.S. airline cards, 2 hotel cards, 2 charge cards, 3 personal U.S. airline cards, 2 Chase cards, 1 Citi card, 1 Capital One card, a Barclays card, and his total annual fee is $4,263.
Okay,
Wow.
so
Wow.
that's a lot.
That's a
So
lot.
what I'll say in this chat is I'm just going to list them out so that we know what they are, and then he can get back to me if I'm right or not. Basically, it's like a puzzle trying to figure out based on the parameters you gave me what those cards would end up being. And so I'm going to go for it right now. So 1 through 10, Amex Platinum, Amex Gold, the Amex Bonvoy Brilliant, the Amex Hilton Aspire, the Delta Reserve Business, the Chase United Club Infinite, the Chase United Business, the Capital Adventure X, the Citi Prestige, and the Barclays AA Advantage Royalty Card. That I think totals 4,200 in annual fees. Not exactly what he said, so I got something wrong there. But
Hmm.
I know Leo is a guy that kind of goes big or goes home. And so I just nailed all the basically highest possible annual fee travel credit cards I could think of that matched the description that he had in that question. So we'll see how good I did once he gets back to me.
I'm just wondering, how did he get 4,263? Are there numbers like that in annual fees?
Well, it's like when you have things like 450, $99, 150, like it starts to
Uh,
kind of get to that point. Every
yeah,
$99 you have,
true.
that will like drop it by $1, so it gets a little bit weird. But
Hmm.
we'll see how I did. I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't know anything about a setup, but what
Yeah.
the riddle he gave to me. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that was, I feel like if you get that right, it's gonna unlock some sort of portal to another dimension.
I know he has the Aspire. I know he has the Brilliant because he
Mm,
told me about both of those cards in the past. But other
mm,
than that, I don't really have a clue.
gotcha. And then okay, and the last question from your community post is there a risk with canceling Amex business cards like the BP or the BG after first year? After getting hooked on the sub, instead of 5% cash back on everything, hard to resist more opportunities for subs. Mostly have personal cards for Amex. So is there a risk to canceling Amex business cards after the first year?
I think there's a risk canceling it before the first year for sure. I I think you have to figure out what are you considering to be a risk after the first year. If the risk is I'm going to fall into Amex pop-up jail, then the answer is yes, there is a risk to that happening. But that would, in my opinion, be the only risk. Of course, when you cancel these credit cards, make sure you transfer those credit limits to another business credit card so you don't lose those limits, unless that's part of your strategy, which can happen. But that only downside to canceling business cards, in my opinion, after the first year is you may end up in Amex pop-up jail, which you can get out of. So that's going to be okay. Other than that, again, business credit scores also is a little bit elusive to me. I know it's not the same as personal credit scores, like the way we think about them. There are other things that go into that, like the DNB number and other things that I'm not as familiar with. So from the age of account, it may, but I'm not good. I don't know enough about that to really comment on that.
Hmm. Makes sense. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that was a question I had earlier. Is I wonder what the real effect, if any, other than just being in pop up jail. Yeah, I wonder how it does affect your DNB number. Hmm. Looked like Sledge. It's time for adult mini golf. It was fun. Gotta go. Salute, man. Have a good
All right,
time
see you
out
later,
there.
Sledge.
MR said it's 1 a.m. here in Camel Country. Gonna pass out. Ciao. Peace out, man. MR is great. He's always around. He's funny. Hmm. Abdullah, he asked me, MX business plat versus personal plat, which do you prefer? I mean, definitely based on my life. Just the personal plat is just, and I haven't really even fully looked at that business plat, but I mean, I can't use the Dell credits. A lot of the multipliers won't really work with what I spend money on. And doesn't the business platinum have less? Well, what credits is it missing that the personal does?
So it's missing a lot of the things you think of. So it's missing the Uber credit.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
missing the digital entertainment credit. Obviously, the Equinox and the Soul Cycle credits.
Yeah.
Um, it's basically the ones that are overlapping are the Clear credit, the airline incidental
Hmm.
credit. I think are the two that are overlapping, and then they have those four businessy ones: the Dell, the Adobe, the
Yeah.
what is it? The LinkedIn is LinkedIn? No, Dell, Adobe. Um, it's like one of those services that you can like recruit people from, and then the mobile phone wireless phone credit, which is
Hmm.
$120 as well.
Hmm. Yeah. So just for that, it doesn't have an FHR.
It does. It has FHR
Uh,
to it, but I don't think it has an FHR credit.
oh, got it. Got it. Huh. Yeah.
Indeed. So
So,
Abdullahi World saying indeed. That's correct. That's the indeed credit for the business platinum.
uh, got it. Got it. Hmm. Let's see if anybody else. Well, not bad, man. Not bad. So we got through some questions here. I'll throw this in the chat again. If you guys want, for future videos, I'm from now on. I think I'm going to start dropping just in the "I want your opinion" tab in the Discord. If you want to ask questions to whoever's on at that particular time, so definitely join that if you're not already. Stan, man, this has been amazing. Is there anything that you want to talk about or bring up or ask?
No, I think we had a really good conversation today. I think we got through a lot of questions with a lot of people who asked them, and hopefully we could answer them to the best of our ability. But it's been a fun time talking with you, Tony, and being on this live stream. And hopefully we can do this again sometime in the future. But it's been fun,
Hmm.
and hopefully you can now enjoy the nice weather you got there. That's no longer raining and storming.
Yes, we made it. Now we got some sun. Not too bad. Not too bad. So.
I will just throw out
Mhm.
if there's any more last minute questions about for me while I'm here, I'm happy to answer them if you want to throw them in the chat. Um, but other than that, I think we're pretty much good to go.
For sure. So we'll leave that delay
Leave
there.
that for
But yeah, I really appreciate you doing this with me, and absolutely, this was a lot of fun. This is like this is one of the more fun ones, I think. One of the funniest, one of the most fun ones actually.
Oh,
So
that's
we'll
awesome. Yeah,
definitely.
it's
Mhm.
live streams are fun. I mean, you really get to engage with other people in the community and see kind of what we can help them out with if they have any questions, and obviously have a little bit of fun at the same time,
Yes.
especially with CJ because that guy's a character.
Yeah. um, Looks like Abdullah. Hi, Abdullah. He says thoughts on the city trifecta.
So
Hmm.
city trifecta. I think that's a great trifecta. I mean, it's only $95. So just to define what that is, it's the city premier card, $95 annual fee. City custom cash card, no annual fee. City double cash card, no annual fee.
Hmm.
I think that the city custom cash and double cash by themselves is a great setup for basically anyone. Actually, that's the setup I like tell my parents to use because they're
Hmm.
not as into credit cards as I am, and also they're more elderly, so it's easy for them to say. I
Hmm.
say, "Mom, Dad, use City Custom Cash for groceries, double cash for everything else," and
Hmm.
that's it. They get the best amount of points that way. But you add in the City Premier card, now you got these 3x categories and all these different aspects that can really help out that double cash and take that load off of them. I think the one thing I would say about the City trifecta is that Premier card is always hard to get. Like you look from someone like Luke's Points and Miles, he had to try 3 times to get that card over
Wow.
multiple years, right? And
Hmm.
and so and there are other people like, for example, I think Mark Plymouth a long time ago applied for it. He didn't get the Premier card, even though he had a really great profile at the time. And so it's one of those cards that even if you're doing really well with your credit score and that sort of thing, you may not get the card, and that's a hard pull that's wasted. And so you have to kind of just gauge if that's the right setup for you. If you can get it,
Hmm.
that's great. And you can get that transfer partner bonus too to get all those thank you points to those transfer partners. So
Hmm.
I think from a paper standpoint, it's a great trifecta, but in practice, getting that City Premier card may become an issue, which is not an issue. For example, the gold card, platinum card, Blue Business Plus, from what I understand, as well as a Sapphire Preferred for that Chase trifecta. Those are fairly reasonable cards to get with reasonable uh, reconsideration line opportunities. where a city is like no, and they just kind of say no, and that's it.
Hmm. Not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, I know. I think Spencer just did a video on it. City trifecta, right?
Yeah, he did, and it's a
Yeah.
great video, great coverage of that trifecta.
Yeah, I gotta actually watch that so I can educate myself a little more in the city world. But yeah, Stan, this was a lot of fun. I'll just reiterate, a lot of fun. Appreciate you being here, and definitely want a part two at some point. Um, when schedules allow. Appreciate everyone for being here and all the freaking crazy super chats, being crazy, making me crazy. So appreciate everybody that's being here. We love to do these every single week because I don't know, it's a good way to get the community going, and I feel like there was never enough of it in the credit card world. So it's good to hear the thoughts behind the videos and really going in depth on certain things. And Stan has some of the best insights out there. So appreciate you once again, man. Thank you.
Of course, thank you, Tony, and thanks everyone for being here. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, right. It's Monday. That's right. Monday. We'll see you guys. All right, guys. Take care, enjoy, and have fun.